Hi, this is Shais Taub from SoulWords, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different on today's video. We're going to experiment with some optical illusions. But first, what I want to ask you to do is, if you're looking at this on a phone, I want you to reorient the phone so that the video player takes up the entire screen. Or if you're on a laptop or a desktop, just maximize the video player again so it takes up the entire screen. When you have other images in the periphery, it sort of breaks the effect. All right, so what you're looking at here is a Troxler effect, or rather an image which induces a Troxler effect. Troxler was a Swiss scientist and philosopher in the 1800s, and he theorized that when you had stimuli that were steady and unchanging, your brain just sort of filters them out as insignificant. Just sort of like cancels it and it goes away. So take a look here. You see these different pastel hues, the sort of fuzzy colors. You see orange and yellow and purple and blue. And then at the center of the image, there's this black pin dot. So focus on the black pin dot, if you will, and don't try to do anything in particular. Just relax your eyes and focus on the black pin dot. Just try to look at that and nothing else. And what you'll probably experience is that the colors around in the background fade away as if they're not there, and eventually it'll be as if the black pin dot is on a plain, solid gray background. And sometimes the colors might come back into view, but then if you just relax again, look at the black pin dot, your brain eventually cancels them out again, and they're gone. Okay, and that's the Troxler effect. Okay, let's try another one here. And the difference now is that the colors are more vivid and their shapes are more pronounced. So it's going to be a little bit harder for our brains to cancel them out. But let's see if it works. Again, just stare at the black pin dot in the center and relax. And you start to see the colors just fade away as if they're not there. Yep. Again, that's that Troxler effect. That's your brain canceling out what it considers to be useless information. Okay, now we're going to do one more image, which is again based on the same Troxler effect. And here the pin dot is a red pin dot, and then around it there's this blue halo. And again, just stare at the red pin dot and you're going to see how the blue halo fades away and disappears. Yeah, you got it? Okay, and finally we're going to do the Lilac Chaser. This is animated. You're not imagining things. That's actually happening. And again, we're going to stare at the center, at the crosshairs in the center. And one thing you're going to notice probably right away is that the blank space left behind by the lilac dot gives its opposite color, contrasting color. It sort of looks like there's a green dot, but that's just in your mind. But what also happens is another Troxler effect, and some people experience all of the lilac dots disappearing. Some experience just a portion of them. But see if that will happen for you. And as you're doing that, I want you to consider the following. Have you noticed the fact that there's been an auditory Troxler effect going on the entire duration of this video? Here, let's stop that noise in the background. Ah, silence. Although probably really not, because there's, wherever you're sitting, room noise, ambient noise, and you've been canceling that out as well. So you see how much we're constantly filtering and ignoring as irrelevant information. Let's turn that noise back on. Oh, now all of a sudden you hear it. And let's cut it off. On, off. But when it was on the entire time from the beginning, you thought nothing of it. And as you're staring at the Lilac Chaser, I want you to consider, there's an expression in the Holy Tongue, tainug timidi enoi tainug. Constant pleasure is no pleasure at all. And Hasidic teachings often explain that the primary example of this is life itself. The greatest pleasure is to be alive. So how come we don't all walk around constantly in a state of bliss? Well, that's a good question. And the answer is because we're always alive. We don't feel the pleasure of the life force filling us and pulsing through us at every moment. But if, God forbid, let's say, for instance, somebody were sick and his life force left him or was depleting and was waning, and then all of a sudden he was revived and he came alive again, then that would feel profoundly pleasurable, deeply pleasurable. But because it's constant, we sort of cancel it out. So you can go and extrapolate how much our brains are just canceling out as irrelevant because of it being constant. You know, just the fact that the creator is creating the world something from nothing every single second is the greatest miracle that ever occurred. And yet, because it's constant, it's as if nothing's happening. So sometimes what we need to do is break away from the monotony, get a new perspective, and all of a sudden realize everything that we've been overlooking. Anyway, I hope you've had fun with these optical illusions and some of the ideas that they get us thinking about. And that's it for now. We'll see you again on another episode of SoulWords.